සුබ දවසක් හැමෝටම. මම ප්‍රසාද් ශ්‍රීමාල්. අද PSR work channel එකෙන් අරගෙන ඉන්නේ අපේ mock interview series එකේ ඊළඟ වීඩියෝ එක, ඊළඟ interview එක. මේ interview එකට සහභාගී වෙන්නේ මේ වෙනකොට slit එකේ final year වගේ ඉන්න undergraduate කෙනෙක්. මෙයාගේ internship එක ඉවර කරලා දැන් එයාගේ associate software engineer position එකට යන්න බලාගෙන interviews වලට සූදානමින් ඉන්නවා. ඉතින් fresh graduate කෙනෙක් විදිහට associate software engineer interview එකකට සූදානම් වෙන්න ඕන කරන විදිය questions කීපයක් පෙළ ගස්සලා සියලුම දේවල් නෙමෙයි නමුත් limited time එකක් ඇතුළේ විනාඩි 40ක් වගේ ඇතුළත මට summarize කරන්න පුළුවන් විදිය questions කීපයක් හදලා මේ candidate ගේ confidence එක ටිකක් හොඳ මට්ටමකට ගන්න මම interview එකක් plan කරා ඒක අපි කරා ඊළඟට මේක ඇතුළේ මට ඉක්මනින්ම දෙන්න පුළුවන් විදිය කොයි රිවිව් එකකුත් දුන්නා මේ රිවිව් එකත් මේකේ මේ සම්බන්ධව වීඩියෝස් බලන අයට වැදගත් වෙයි. ඒ නිසා වීඩියෝ එක හොඳට බලා ගන්න. වීඩියෝ එක අවසානයේදී මම දෙන රිවිව්ස් ටිකත් බලා ගන්න. අපි අපේ ඊළඟ මොක් ඉන්ටර්විව්ස් වලින් තව හම්බෙමු. මම මොකද දිගටම මොක් ඉන්ටර්විව්ස් කීපයක්ම මේ සතියේ ස්කෙජුල් කරලා තියෙන නිසා ඉස්සරහට ඔයගලන්ට තව මොක් ඉන්ටර්විව්ස් විවිධ මට්ටම් වල විවිධ ටෙක්නොලොජිස් කවර් කරන ඉන්ටර්විව්ස් කීපයක් බලා ගන්න ලැබෙයි. අපි නම් ඉන්ටර්විව් එක බලමු.
Hi, Chamoda.
Hi.
Shall we start then?
Yeah, okay.
Right. Can we start with a brief description about you?
Yeah, I'm Chamoda Karnatilaka. I'm living in Malawi. Currently, I'm following BSc degree in IT, specialized in software engineering. And I'm on the last semester of my degree program. And I have completed my internship at CAMS as a software engineer intern, focused on .NET and Angular and MS SQL. Then parallelly, I have gone through enterprise level application development program done by CodeGen, and through that I have developed a Spring Boot, Angular, and MySQL travel domain application. And after that application, I have selected to the CodeGen as a trainee software engineer. And through that period, I have engaged in their main client project and worked as a intern using technologies Spring Boot, Angular, Java Sync, and Oracle SQL. I have did some migrations and engaged directly in feature developments, 2-week sprints, and bug fixings, production is 2-week sprints. Those are the main things done in CodeGen. And I have, other than that, I have done many individual and group projects at my university time period using React, Angular, Node.js, MongoDB, and SQL, Java, various stacks. And currently I'm ongoing research project, which is done by React Native as mobile app Frontend, and Python Backend, and using Fast API, and I'm doing a deep learning model in emotion detection project. Those are the current brief introduction of myself.
Okay. So as per your description, I think you are still undergraduate, is it?
Yeah.
When your program is going to complete?
This year, June or July.
By July this year?
Yeah.
Okay. So what made you do like 2 parallel internships in 2 companies? Like, was that a requirement from your degree, or was your personal decision?
Our university there's a requirement of a 6-month internship, so we have to go through a 6-month internship. But if I start when I started my internship at CAMS, I have parallelly got selected to the enterprise application development course. So after that, I terminated the software engineer as intern as in CAMS. Joined to the CodeGen because I prefer my stack as Java, most other than .NET. That's why I joined Kotlin.
Okay. And you completed your internship at CodeGen.
Kotlin, yeah.
So now it's over.
Yeah.
Okay. That's actually a good point because I have never seen never seen any of the internships, any of interns has done this. Like uh, you join one company and you decide to change the tech stack, and then you change
Yeah.
the company as well to follow that tech stack and complete the internship at the second one. And that's actually a good point because um, even though we know that as a principle or as a theory that should be doable, but that's good to have like you someone as an example that you have actually done it. That's very
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I have a compliment for you for that. That's credit for you. So
Thank
very
you.
good. Yeah. So we can go to the next sections. As one of my questions would be like, what was the question? What were the projects you have been involved with in both two companies? But I think you already mentioned the main parts of each of the projects you involved. Anyway,
Yeah.
since we have limited time, let's move on. I think we can start with your since you are still undergraduate, we can start with you some of your academic knowledge, and then we can
Mm.
jump into, since you already completed your internship, we can jump into associate level questions. So I'm pretty sure that you have already completed your data structures and algorithms course module in your degree. Is that true or
Yeah.
not?
We
You have,
completed it second year.
right. So can you tell me about the data structures you know or you are familiar with?
I have learned stacks, queues, linked list, and trees as data structures, array list as data structures, and algorithms as sorting algorithms, quick sort, merge sort, bubble sort. Uh, those are
Okay. Um, can you remember any particular data structures you used in your projects during your internship?
um, directly we are not. I'm not use data structures, but some points like I have to do a drop down reverse in the drop down. So I have used stack to for that. That's not a requirement. That's an approach I have done. So I got the that's a drop down of companies list of companies. So I got that list 10 using the stack. I reverse that and uh, have to create some companies and some according to their requirement. I have to select the default one. So I use stacks for that.
Okay. In principle, can you tell me about the difference between the stacks and queues?
Yeah, stacks follows the last in first out principle, and queues following the first in first out principle.
Right. Okay. And you mentioned about sorting algorithms you have familiar with. Can you mention two sorting algorithms you know?
Yeah, quick sort and merge sort.
Quick sort and merge sort. Okay. Any algorithm have you used any of your in any of your projects?
Not directly.
Mhm. What about bubble sort?
Bubble sort I have learned, but not used practically in my projects.
Okay. Can you mention why bubble sort falls under a simple strategy while merge sort falls under a kind of complex strategy? What is the difference?
Um, Merge sort doing the like it's dividing the arrays and until it is sorted, gone through that divide and sorting methods. Simply got the divide the array into small parts and sort in those and merge the full sorted array. Uh,
Okay.
Not much, remember the object sort.
Okay. Do you know how we can measure the performance of an algorithm?
Yeah, we can measure by space complexities like the all again and or in the equations.
Okay. Right. We can go to the technical part of your interview, like the technical questions I have. Let's start with your projects you enrolled with in Java. So you followed Spring Boot as a framework, right?
Yeah.
Right. Can you mention one project you involved with in very brief, in very short? Can you mention about a complex task you have to do, or you have to involve with? Any complex task, and how could you overcome it?
Uh, a simple one. I have done this Spring Boot application at CodeGen also, but it's a complex one, so I can't explain it briefly. So I called for a microservice application I have built in my school university project as uh, it is a educational platform. So we gone through approach of a microservice architecture. So my component was the course management and course service and the content service. So in course service, users can upload course materials and enroll students. And content management, we can upload the images, all the content of the single course. So when building the Microsoft application, we didn't know how the service discovery was done. So gone through some documents and smooth. We found that Netflix Eureka server for the communication, synchronous communication across the services. So that's one challenge we have overcome, and connecting the front end to the back end. So we can't directly connect back end to the microservice because microservices have different projects. So we use API gateway to overcome that. From the front end, we call the API gateway, and through API gateway, it discover the required service.
Okay, so you're working as a full stack developer or just for the
Yeah,
backend? Full stack.
full stack. Yeah.
Okay, good. So what was the ORM you used to map the objects of your database in your project that you mentioned? Have you used ORM or just regular SQL?
In Spring Boot, we used JP and Hibernate to connect it database
Right.
because it's
Yeah, that comes as a default. Can you mention how you can do the dependency injection in Spring Boot in very brief?
dependency injection. There are some ways to do in Spring Boot using auto add annotation. We can annotate the construct and we can annotate the fields and we can inject through fields, but some that method is different according to the requirements. I'm using the field injecting method using the auto add annotation at the fields, not the constructor.
Okay. Have you ever construct or develop constructors instead of using any annotation because of any reason? Have you ever construct any
Yeah,
constructor or okay?
yeah.
Can you mention one?
before using Spring Boot, I have created constructors in Java, pure Java application. So um, as initialization of the class when creating the objects, like uh, then creating the class for my course. So the IDs and the name of the course, those are initialized when creating an object of the course.
Okay,
So,
right. Um, what was the database you used? SQL or any other one?
for the MyService application, I used MongoDB, but many times I used the SQL databases.
To
MySQL and
connect with
SQL.
MongoDB, what was the driver?
There is a driver called driver for the MongoDB connection.
Mhm.
Didn't exactly remember the name.
Okay,
For the SQL connections, we use JDBC driver.
yeah, right. Okay, so let's move to the front end part since uh, you have involved with the project as a full stack developer.
Yeah.
What was the framework you used to the front end?
Uh, I'm using two frameworks according project, React and Angular.
Okay, in this project, I suppose Angular. Was it
Microsoft application, React. I would say.
React? Okay, right, that's good. So in that application, you said you developed the endpoints, REST endpoints, and then REST APIs, and then you integrated them. What was the tool you used to integrate them in the front end? Like you used
Um,
any frameworks or any modules, or just use the JavaScript fetch API?
I'm using Axios.
Axios. Okay, good.
So,
Uh, have you uh, have you used or have you heard about any other tools you could use instead of Axios to integrate APIs in the front end?
um, other than the Axios, we can use the fetch method and React. Uh, no, React. I couldn't remember, but some Spring Boot we can use Webflux also. React. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember any other than
Okay. Right.
using Axios many times.
Yeah, Axios is a powerful tool. We can get the full leverage of it, but you might have to get the idea about other parts of it because in the industry, most of the projects that has a concern about the performance of the application
Yeah.
usually use either Redux or RTK query or React query most of the times, but still we can use Axios along with them and we can get the same performance, but with some additional effort. Anyway, at this point, Axios is good. You can use Axios uh, for your upcoming projects as well.
Yeah.
Right. Um, so in that application you mentioned about the React project, what was the UI framework you used? Have you used any UI framework or just HTML and CSS? How was the UI? How you organized the UI in that project?
Yeah, UI designing part we have done using Tailwind framework, CSS framework.
Mhm.
Using Tailwind, it is easier to do the designs because inline CSS is used. So that's easier.
Okay. Um, why use Tailwind at that time? Yeah, it was like you have to do it by it someone assigned to you to do it, or you decided to do it.
I have decided to do it because I use Tailwind before as to my projects and also Material UI, but Tailwind is more easier then because we are more focusing on the microservice application. So for easiness, we build the React application using Tailwind, and it is very customizable, and there are some built-in components as well, so we can use those directly to the application. That's why we use Tailwind.
Okay, yeah, I agree because most of the latest Tailwind versions have so many improvements, like just like React Bootstrap. So yeah, that's good. So when it comes to React, do you know about? I think you have used functional components in React,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me about some React hooks you used or you're familiar with?
Yeah, use Deepfake, then use statement mostly using those tools. Uses take 10 use it.
Okay. And when we use effect and when we use state.
Use state is using when we have some dynamic data to store as state management, and use effect is using when we can initially when it is rendering only once, so we can use it to some initially backend calls. Like initially, we can, if we want some data, we can get uh, at the initial point of loading of the page. Uh, for instances like that, we can use events.
Right. Actually, use effect. When it comes to use effect, it is like a function that do some side effects, and it's not always running at once or running only once. You can prepare it to run
Okay.
only once or run only multiple times when another variable we call dependency is going to be updated. And also you can use the same use effect when to trigger when you are leaving the component as well. And there are so many other cases as well. So you might want to learn about use effect in your future projects. Okay. Have you used any other React hooks like use memo or use reducer or use context, any of those?
Um, Not actually.
Okay. You'll be in the future because those are some of those performance improvements in React, since we need to deal with reducing the number of re-renders in most of the React projects, because React usually likes to re-render all the time. Whenever a point is updated, usually states, whenever a state is updated, React likes to re-render the whole component. But we have some other tools like those hooks I mentioned to stop React from re-rendering multiple times unnecessarily. So you will have to use them when it comes to performance improvements, so performance things related stuff. Okay. Um, in JavaScript, um, so since you mentioned two major programming languages, Java and JavaScript, you have done both of them in different projects as well as a single project. So you might have an idea about this. I'm talking about how you can handle a thread in both languages. So I will give you an idea about what a thread is about. So when you are doing programming, you can create a sequence of processes. Let's say you are creating a calculator, so you input two numbers and then you get the answer. To do that, you can either input two numbers, so you can hard code those two numbers, and you can input those two numbers like variables to a formula or a function, and then you can return the response or the result. So we can consider this sequence as a single thread. Can you mention, or do you know about how Java handles this sequence or these threads, and how JavaScript handles those things? I'm asking because there's a huge difference between how Java works and how JavaScript works in terms of handling threads. And this is kind of principle base knowledge you need to have regarding those two major languages because you use them. Do you have any idea about that? How the two languages handles those threads in brief?
Yeah, in Java, it mostly it is used for multitasking things. So the thread handling is there are some we can use synchronized keyword to avoid the conflicts and in JavaScript there is a event loop. So in Node there is event loop. So when main thread is running and some for the IO operations where we can use synchronous keywords for get the IO operations smoothly without affecting the main thread. So for that, there's event loop.
Okay, so JavaScript has event loop to loop through the events of each of the thread or sequence of processes to run them or keep them in the sequence, and Java has different approach to run them in parallel. So basically, yeah, I was looking for how they handle like multiple threads at once and multiple threads in a sequence, because Java use a mechanism to handle multi-threading, whereas JavaScript use a single thread or single sequencer process. And we can go with those principles to implement our system. And also in Java script, we also have a method to run multiple threads in parallel. Have you worked or have you heard about web workers in JavaScript?
Not deep.
Right. Yeah, probably not, because you have involved with like limited number of projects so far, but that's okay. Since you are associate, you will get the idea of web workers and some other latest tools to run multiple threads in parallel, because nowadays we have to focus about performance improvements of front-end applications most of the times, because most of the applications have to involve with a large amount of data these days, because we are in a data era with AI and all the things. So we have to deal with large data handling, and we need to focus about improvements quite a few more than previous years, past years, or the history. So that's where we at. Anyway, okay, good, because you gave some key points while you are attaching the answer, attaching a piece of the answer to give the final answer. That's good. So final part of the questions I have. Do you know about a cloud infrastructure partner like AWS or Microsoft Azure? Have you worked with them, or do you know about any of those services? You can give an answer either from AWS or Microsoft Azure.
I'm learning about the cloud services because we have to deploy our application, the AI application in AWS. So we plan to put these three buckets as well. I know some theories about the those services, but not directly used in my projects.
Okay. Have you any plan to follow the AWS track, like certifications or any of those?
Yeah, I plan to start the AWS course provided by the Amazon.
Okay, right. Okay, that's good. As I noticed, your CV. Let me check your CV again to make it sure. I noticed that you have mentioned under your achievements and certifications, one thing you mentioned, actually the first thing you mentioned, but research paper publication. Can you mention about what was the research publication you did?
It was a travel domain application we have I done in third year in my university. It like it's like hotel like a travel management software. It has weather forecast features and hotel management features and package custom package creation features. Uh, and the users can select their travel locations and they can input what they want as a customized inputs. So as per those inputs, the package is generated for their uh, dates by checking the weather forecasting of the uh, along the 5 days of the their input date, and that custom and will best packages going to use. And we have published that research paper, and it is accepted by them. It is a Chinese conference, sorry, journal.
Oh, it was a journal, not a conference.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Okay. All right, cool. I think I have raised all the questions I have, what I prepared for the interview. And as associate level, I think you are in a good position to get your associate level position. I have some reviews for you, like some quick reviews for you. I can tell you right after this one, and I can give you a detailed review for the whole interview, and I can provide the interview recording as well. So before going to that quick review part, do you have any questions?
I want to know my weak points to improve my skills. So that's the
Right.
main important to
Okay.
me. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's part of our review one. Okay. So let's end the session, the interview session, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Chamodar, I think you gave some good points while you are describing your internship as well as your technical explanations about your past projects. One thing I need to focus on about. I want you to focus about when I raise a question to give me a brief idea. You quickly gave you a brief description about yourself, and then you jump into the some quick projects you have done as well. That's okay, not all the time, because most of the times we have limited time to conduct the whole interview. So if the interviewer is asking a quick question or like a short question, most of the times we expect you to answer quickly and in short, right? So I think you need to carefully consider about that, because I have seen most of the candidates have tried to drag the answer to some extent where you can give all the things you have prepared for, like in the particular area of the question, even though some of those answers might not be relevant to the exact question. But since we have a limited number of time, since we have questions prepared for the whole time slot we have, you might lose some questions from the end if you drag the first part of it with some additional answers or some extra things you have prepared for. So that's one thing you need to consider, I think, and also attention to detail is very important. It's a key thing you need to consider, because one question I raised about data structures and algorithms, I asked the question about, can you mention some data structures you know? And you gave me answer right after the question, like data structures you know, and then you explained or you mentioned about some algorithms as well. But the question was only about data structures. So those things might need to be considered. Mostly the attention to detail, because the details of the question would be very specific, and you might extend your answer to some extra steps, or you can bring your answers for some extra further, but sometimes not good. Sometimes could be, it's like not a big deal, but some critical interviews, like some reputed companies might want to hear it from you, but that's not always the case.
Yeah.
So need to, I think you might have to consider those things as well. And I felt like you have the confidence and you have the right skills, but probably with a better preparation for the interview would do the best for you in the next interview, or in the actual interview you're going to face, because you have to prepare for the interview like some days in advance, but I don't think we had that time to prepare this interview, so that's okay. But the whole thing about this mock interview is to give you these ideas. Yeah, those are the things I think I need to highlight, like in a quick way. But I will give you some additional or extended detailed review as well after the interview.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think you can cover them, or you can do something to overcome those things and prepare for the next interview very well?
Yeah. Actually, I will. However, I will resolve those problems.
Yeah, because most of the interviews, I'm giving some general idea about them, because some of those interviews might not think about in the same way I described, because those are not the most important part of the interview. The
Yeah.
most of the important part of the interview could be differ from the interview to interview, from company to company, but generally those are things you need to highlight. Anyway, I think we can conclude the interview and the review session. Do you have any last questions?
Sometimes in interviews, I feel like I know the answer, but sometimes I can't express the in the interview time because of this theory or something. I can't describe to the point, but I will use some words I got in my mind. So, but that will be not the best answer. So I want to resolve that one also. I think
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah, that's a common case for most of the candidates. Even I had those problems, right? I wasn't a perfect candidate in my initial interviews. Even right now, I might not be the best candidate for an interview, even in my particular area. But I'm trying to. Um, So my advice is prepare as much as possible for the interview with what you know. If there's any question raised about a thing that you don't know, you can say just I don't know right at the time because I haven't involved with that particular thing in even at any of my project in my past. So how could I know? That's the answer. But with the same answer, you can give like I'm going to write this down and I'm going to follow this up because you raised this question. Since you raised this question in the interview, it must be very important thing, right? So I need to write. I'm going to write this down and going to do a kind of research about this right after the interview, and I will use if it is relevant to me. I will use in my next upcoming projects or current project I'm doing. I can cover up some kind of answer for those type of questions where they question me, but I don't know the answer, right? I think that would be the way to go. Instead of giving some partial knowledge what we know about that thing, but it's not the relevant thing, and we already know that that's not the right answer. It's kind of waste of both of our time. So you can give a quick answer that I don't know, and we'll follow it after the interview, something like that. Because you need to give the impression of you like that answer, and you are going to do some works for it since the question was raised, and you are giving the credit for them for raising that answer. That's something you don't know because interview is not always about finding your next job. Sometimes it will be like learning, right? Learning new things that you already don't know. Anyway, that's one thing you can do. I hope you got the idea.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. It's almost an hour. Anyway, it's very useful for both of us. And I will let you know the next steps of the mock interview process, and we'll contact you. And you can raise any questions you have through email. And I wish you good luck in your next interview.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, see you.